Hey, it's me. And I don't know if this is going to be a video that I end up editing this part out so I can play the rest of it for everybody, or if it's going to be something I just roll out to you. And because typically, so this is my discussion today is kind of about, I don't know, I was just in a thinking state, of course, are we all always, but this was productive, and I had a really decent kind of vibration going into this morning. Like I saw that thing in the bushes back there. It looked like somebody. I was like, that's why I had that weird look on my face. Probably. But I always have my head on a swivel, and so if I'm not looking at you, I do not mean it. I am still looking at you. I promise. I'm feeling you too. And so my mindset is in like it's really supported this morning by breadth. So I want to explain that a little bit. And this is kind of like a progression for me. So if I get a little off topic and a little back on topic, I apologize. It's kind of just my process, but you'll know. And people who know me know that, and so I will bring it back. So anyway, so this whole thing about the support, right? So now, to put this in general terms, right? I found my person in the world, and we always had an inkling toward each other, and now we finally got back together. 20 years later, found my person, and to me, this is significant, in always, pretty much based on solely the knowledge that I know that Jen cares for me and she supports me. It's not the L word. She loves me. Of course we love each other, right? And it's not that. It's more. It's endless. Like if I think of something and I apply my life to it now with her, it's working out for me because I can find a way, because I have a support system, so my mind isn't always chock full of thoughts of defense or thoughts of worrying about the person I'm going to run into today or go home to today, because I'm worried that, and in the back of my mind, this might not be a forward-thinking action, but it is a thought that overwhelmed me for years, and I'm sure many people are afflicted with that. When you go home to somebody who you know is going to cause a problem, but you love them, and you just have the process down, so you know how to navigate it, and you kind of like it a little bit, if you're arguing or something like that. But when it comes down to it, like at my core being, there are only like a couple of things I look for in people to really determine whether or not there's somebody I can hang out with or not. And one of the main things is is support. So a way that I test this, and I don't test people, I'm not trying to manipulate people, but in this world, right, we run across people, and we, when we do things, we do them with purpose, and I do them with purpose. I keep it on me. And I try to like build something with somebody, or go through a thing where there's going to be a debate. And I'm not talking political. No. I don't go there. Never go there with people. You know what I mean? I'm talking like, just core value debates, not things like that, but like values, something, oh, look, walk down the road and there's, I've been homeless for, right? So I walk down the road and there's a homeless person. I'm fucking going to approach them and tell them, I see you every time. I don't care even if I have to go, hey, like that, unless they're fucking, unless I'm at the city or whatever, but, there's thousands of people. But I know like that, when you're one in a fucking small little thing and you're seen, but nobody sees you, that sucks. And I know what that fucking feels like. So I don't feel that anymore. I don't live in that life where I feel unseen. And that can only happen when it happens. I always imagined it happening and always had a thought of what it would be like when it happened. And there was also times in my life where I thought it had happened, and then I realized within it really didn't happen, and I wasn't being fully supported. And a lot of us knows what that looks like, and fully support. And I'm talking fully support. I'm talking to a person who, it's so hard to explain, because so many people, I'm 44 years old. There's so many people in this life I've come across who do not understand this function, that it scares me. So it's hard for me to reach out to people, to talk to people, to engage in people just because of that. The older I get, like the less people I hang out with. So say when I was a kid, look, I left home early, so I was around people a lot. And that as I got older, either A, people died on me, or they're gone. They just don't exist in my life anymore, for one reason or another. And I am not a saint. I have caused turmoil in my life. I've caused heartbreak. I've been, in the wrong side of bad deals. You know what I mean? But that's not who I am. It just was who I was in that moment when I had no other choice. And I know that many of us understand that. And that's why I'm trying to say it, because I want to really highlight this thing, because I think it's so beautiful. I wish everybody could have this knowledge almost. I don't know. It sounds silly, right? But if you know me, I'm a thinker, man. I really go there and research, talking, debate, and asking the questions. And so like with this support piece in my life, Jen is the most supportive person I've come across. And she's been that way since I met her. And I met Jen a very long time ago. A very long time ago. We were kindred spirits back then. And there's something about that mutual respect where I know, I gotta stop saying yous, I know I gotta keep it on me. But when I know that I'm having kind of a rough patch of thought, like sometimes I'll be anxious and I don't know how to express it. So I'll just be like, hey babe, I'm just like feeling really anxious right now, and I want to let you know. It's that simple. That's what I do. And I discovered that, that feeling that I call anxiety is also other things. It's excitement, it's nervousness, it's caution, it's a lot of things, but mostly in the moments when I'm with one other individual, and in that time over and over and over again I've said I've been anxious. That's how I'm going to revert to thinking, because it's a practice. We practice saying we're anxious around people. That's what we do in our private minds. We say it 1,000 times, whatever it is, the thing that keeps us bogged down, we say it to ourselves over and over and over again. And you do know that. You know that. You do that. I know I do that. And that runs the gamut across the whole spectrum. The saying that I'm not worthy of something. And I know that sounds basic, but I'm keeping it general, because we say different things. We say things that hurt, that dig in deep to ourselves, because we know how to fuck ourselves up, right? That's what I'm talking about, that part. So having that, and then having another person in the room, in the world, like I feel Jen now, I'm like a couple miles away from her. It doesn't matter I felt her in New England. It didn't matter. When we all knew when we find that person can like let your hair down, man. Oh, it feels so good. It feels so good to be really loved, man, and really cared for, and really know it. And that's what I feel, and that's what I give, and that's how I know, because we match our energies. We do. And even if it's not even warranted, it's happening. And that's how I know that I have that. So with that, having that support brings me to be able to think more clearly, because I'm not bogged down with all the thoughts of turmoil or thoughts of defense that are going through my mind on how I have to plan my day around this other person, because they might say something. They might have had something happen at work, so I have to figure that out. And I'm not saying this because we have to do this anyway. I do with Jen. I'm like, hey, Jen might have a long day today because it's Friday, so I'm going to make sure she has something when we come home from work, right? But that's one thing. But it's another thing when you have to do it, or something will happen that negative. If I don't do it, they're gonna, or if this happened, they're gonna, or if I look like this, they're gonna. Like, I don't live like that anymore. You shouldn't have to live like that ever again either. Never, ever, ever. I promise. You don't have to. It's there. It's out there. And it's all in the definition we give it. It's weird. And I know I may say I'm out of whack. and crazy. And you wonder, who's this fucking guy telling me this stuff, right? And man, I've been a thinker, a lifelong learner. I'm a lifelong learner, and I put that on my resume. Even though I'm self-employed, because I still look for work sometimes, like to keep myself busy in the outside of me, so I can be challenged, to learn something. So I have a resume, who's this guy? Who's Chris Gross? Who the fuck am I, right? Because a lot of people don't know who I am. They know who I am by my reels and stuff and by my energy and what I deliver. But when it comes to who the fuck's this guy? I've been around the world. I've been on my own since I was 14. I had left home when I was 14. Extenuating circumstances, right? I'll get to that sometime. I really will. I know I said I was going to tell that story, but actually that's a hard story to tell. So I have to make sure I have all my, and I'm not writing anything down. Just a thought process, because I'm always in the moment. I don't script it. You know what I mean? I don't edit my videos. Every reel you see is the first take, or the second or the third or the fourth. It all depends, of course. But, most times it's just the first take. And so that's kind of where I'm at with that. I know I just got off track a little bit, and I'm talking about the support and kind of where I'm going and how I'm going to get there and what's allowing me to get there now. And it talks about we talk about people right, I've been to war, right? I came back, I struggled for years. I went and got treatment at a clinic for PTSD for veterans. And across that, I cleaned my whole life up, my mind. I became able to just focus on saying one thing in my head: breathe. And that took years. I still do it. That's a never ending thing. It's a practice. That's practice. You can't, it's not even that. It's just a routine. It's something that goes on even when I'm not doing it anymore. And that took so much practice. And so I know that in the moment when I was first back in my deepest, because I look at life whether we're going up or if I'm going down, kind of. And I've had really sharp trajectories down. I've had really slow trajectories down. And I've had really good trajectories up. I've had a roller coaster of life, as all of us have. I am not special in that at all. I think, though, in one aspect, I have a lot of experience on the ground, in the books, all of it experience, not just, it's all of it. It's not just one thing. I went to college or I lived on the street. I did both. I did everything. I did as much as I can. I still do as much as I can. I want to learn as much as I can. I need to understand as much as I can, because people matter to me. You matter to me. You all matter to me, incredibly. And I want to convey that, and I don't know how, and I stopped saying I don't know how, right? I've learned how to stop saying I don't know how and just started doing. And that's how these videos started. And that all started when I came to Texas. I started to have that room. And as I had that room, I became more vulnerable. And it's just all beautiful now, and there's nothing coming together, there's nothing falling apart. Everything just is, and it always is, and it is how we are in the moment as we respond to them. And that has nothing to do with anything past, future, or present. The things I'm going towards now, this video, the words I say, I don't know what I'm going to say until I say it. And that's how I want to live. And it's not that I'm speaking from nonsense. These are all, my thoughts are very well cultivated, but they're not all great either. So I'm not trying to say I'm I'm smart or anything like that. I'm a human, man. I'm a human in a human's world. And I feel like I have a lot of cool experiences. I've met a lot of things. I've raised families. I've been divorced. I graduated boot camp. I've been to Iraq. I've won awards. I've gotten scholarships, pretty decent scholarships. I worked at the New York State Assembly in 2018. I was an intern there. I've done a lot of different things because my scope is so large. I'm a carpenter. I grew up with a hammer in my hand. I know joinery and the finer things of woodworking, all the way up to, pouring these roads. I can do anything from the road in. I'm a plumber. I'm a handy person. And I like to share it. And you can, if any of my customers are out there watching, like I try to, and probably to their peril sometimes, I might get a little too explainy when I'm working, but it's out of passion. It's not because I'm trying to pester somebody or tell them what they need to know. It's just, I love to share because I love to teach, because I want what's in here, out here. I want everybody to have, why not? That's how I got it. I got it from that. And that's why I want to give it back. And I just haven't really figured out how to yet. So this is my process of learning how to do that, and of also getting that understanding of how to do it, because it can be complicated, but what it is really, am I being genuine, or am I trying to think of things? Once I try to think of what I'm going to say to you, I know I'm on the wrong path. Unless, of course, I'm doing a pour or something and I want to be really precise with it, or I'm doing a video teaching something or showing something, then I'll be precise. But otherwise, I am like completely like, this is me, and that's what Jen has given me back. So now, and it's not that she gave me a gift, she went out to the store and bought anything. No, man, and she's, for me, she's my covalent bond. It's a bond so strong, and it's like a quirk. She's the other half of my quirk. We first touched in the sun, and here we are now, and we just can't stay away. It's just beautiful. And with that, the energy it brings into my life, the light it brings into my life, it's freeing in a way, because I have the room now to be able to depend, and I can say that because I depend on her, and I also support her. That's a beautiful fucking thing, man. And I can't say that for everyone else. I can't in most cases. So that doesn't matter, though. What does is like this, like, it's progression. And even if bad things do happen, it doesn't, I don't know what the future holds, but I feel like if she and I walk hand in hand with our dogs, wherever we go, it's going to be what it is and what we want it. And so it's kind of like, I'm not going like on a tangent here, but it's almost sim-like. Have you ever played I love Morrowind or Elder Scrolls or games like that, where you have to start at level 0 and build yourself up, build crafts. So now it's not that I've played them a million times, but what I do in my life, I do that for real, and I'm on a lot of levels. I'm on a lot of higher levels with certain things, especially my skills with my hands and my mind in mathematics and science. That's where I do well. So I'm higher level in some of those things, social work, research, community building. I know that stuff, right? And now I'm trying to know more about myself. And that's where I have the room. And now that I have all that room, sometimes I don't know what to do with it. It's almost confusing, and I almost don't understand it. And at the same time, I'm taking it in and not trusting it, because there is a component to it that could be like, wait, there's got to be something wrong because nothing's wrong. No, that's what I've asked for. I don't want anything to be wrong. I don't want drama. Jen we don't want that. And that's what we do then, right? So I'm not questioning it. I'm being in here, I'm trying to plan, of course. My license is a big thing. I actually can get my license now. I have it all cleared up finally. Now it's just getting an appointment to get into a Texas Department of Public Service, because it's really, really hard. Like, even going there and sitting there, you can't do that anymore. At the South one, anyway. I might be able to do it at Waxahachie. We're going to work on that next week. But, so that stuff, we have plans, we have plans to do things, but in the moment, that's where we live. And that's where, most of our, time is spent worrying and doing all that stuff. And I've thrown a lot of that away. And if it comes back, I throw it away. It's a choice. To feel is a choice. And it's not even a choice. It's a definition that we give it. And even if we're talking from a stern point of view, if somebody was saying, you don't have to feel that way, it's not even like that, because we do feel that way. I do feel that way. I feel like I feel. It's the definition we give it. And teach yourself to give it a new definition in the moment, because, man, anxiety feels like excitement in a way. It's just different circumstances. So turn it into excitement, even if you have to be like that in a moment. Just do that, right? But for now, I'm going to go. I love you guys. Thanks for listening. I hope you like this, and don't be too hard on me. Peace.